Hello everyone. The idea of power sharing emerged out of the notion of undivided power because before democracy there was a notion that administrative power should not be divided and it should reside either in one person or a group of person who belong to a particular organization or a particular place. However, with the emergence of democracy, this notion changed because democracy says that the ultimate power, ultimate ruling power rests with the people, rests with the citizens. And according to democracy, according to democratic principles and democratic ideals, it is people's rule that people should be they should be included, they should be concerned in every important matter in the country. So power sharing emerged. This notion of power sharing came up in opposition to the undivided power. We have discussed so far about the stories of Belgium and Sri Lanka. We have also compared both the democratic countries, and finally we came to know that in Belgium there was power sharing which brought very good results, but in Sri Lanka power sharing was not done. It was not realized actually by the power holders in Sri Lanka. The notion of power sharing was not recognized by them. So the end result was that there was a civil war and the country suffered miserably. Today we are focusing upon the different forms of power sharing, because when we are talking of power sharing, we must know that what are the different modes, what are the different forms of power sharing. And you will realize that all the four modes, they are there in Belgium, they are there in India, and in most of the democratic countries, power sharing is there. Sri Lanka is an exceptional example. It is an exception. Being a democratic country, it did not share power. So we start with the first form of power sharing, that is called horizontal power sharing. In the horizontal power sharing, we give the example of power sharing between the three organs of the government. We all know that the government has three organs: legislature, lawmaking; executive, that executes the laws; and judiciary, with the people who disobey the laws. Judiciary has the power, it has the jurisdiction to punish them. So three levels of the three organs of the government: legislature, executive, judiciary. This form of power sharing is known as horizontal power sharing. Why? Because all the three organs are placed at the same level. Legislature, executive and judiciary, they are at the same level, but they exercise their power differently. Legislature, executive, judiciary, they exercise their power differently, but they check each other and they create a balance of power. Horizontal power sharing. Let me explain it to you in more detail. In the judiciary, for example, there are judges who do not belong to any political party, and it is a separate organ, it is an independent organ, because giving judgment is a very delicate work, is a very important, very important work, very critical also. They have to be impartial. So although judges are independent, judiciary is independent in India, but at any time they can ask the legislative body to send what laws, what policies they have made to review it. Judges can review it, judiciary can review it. Similarly, the members of the executive, they check the working of the legislature, and thus they create a balance of power. There is a saying in India that in India, ministers swim together and drown together. So every ministry, they keep a vigil, they check the work of the other, so that all the ministers, they are doing proper work, there is a smooth working, so that all would remain in power. Otherwise, they swim together means everything is going fine. They will swim together means they will enjoy power, and if in any one ministry if any one particular area there is something wrong, then all will drown, all have to go away. So this is called the system of check and balance. Each organ checks the other and thus create a balance of power. So that is why this form of power sharing is also known as horizontal power sharing. It allowed the different organs to enjoy their powers differently, but also they check each other to make a balance of power, and thus they share power. So this was horizontal power sharing. Separately, this can be asked in 3 marks and the whole topic can be asked in 5 marks. The second form of power sharing comes as vertical power sharing. In a federal country, wherever there is federalism, because there are unitary form of governments also. In unitary system, state do not exist. So this doesn't mean anything in unitary system. Vertical power sharing. It is there only in federal countries where there is power sharing between the different levels of the government. Like in Belgium, we have read there is a central government, then there are 2 regions, Flemish and Wallonia, and then there is the capital, Brussels. We have read about it. Similarly, in India, we have center, we have states, all the states have their own governments and they derive their power from the constitution. And then there are local bodies also in the form of municipalities or municipal corporations, or in villages they are panchayats. So these are the units. So there is power sharing between the different levels of the government. Now it is called vertical power sharing because all the levels are totally different from each other. Just compare it. Here I told you that all the 3 organs are placed at the same level, and they exercise their power differently and they maintain checks and balance. But in vertical power sharing, one level is totally different from the other level. Central government has separate jurisdiction. We will learn about it in the next chapter, federalism, about how central government derives power, how many powers in the list system, how many subjects they have in the list, how many subjects this residuary power gives them, and in detail we will do it in the next chapter. Here you must know that all the 3 levels are totally different from each other. So this is rightly called a vertical power sharing. Center has more power than the states. States derive their power from the constitution, and then states share its power with municipalities or municipal corporation and the villages or the panchayats according to their subjects. Whatever subjects are necessary for the local bodies, for municipalities and panchayats. So state governments, they share with them because they have 66 subjects of their own. So it is a vertical power sharing between the different levels of the government. If we more elaborate it, central government looks after all those subjects which are of national importance. State governments are authorized to look after all those subjects which are very important for their states. And then they share these subjects with the local bodies, municipalities or municipal corporations and panchayats according to their working spheres. So this is a vertical power sharing, upper and the lower level, upper level and the lower level. So this is vertical power sharing. Correct? Then we come to the third one, very important, this power sharing, because it belongs to the common people, that is power sharing between the social groups. Very good example of community government in Belgium. We have read in second lecture, community government in Belgium, so as to give space even to 1% Germans, so that no community feels alienated in the country. So in Belgium, it is in the form of community government. In India, women are target groups, females, they are target groups. Their seats are reserved. They are demanding for more reservation at the center and the state legislature. That is political empowerment, you can call it. Political demand for more and more political empowerment. So because women were lagging behind, they were not coming up in the politics, and we want that more and more females should come up and they should be politically empowered. We have seen, for example, in the local bodies, their 1/3 seats, the ticket have been given to women. Even tickets, they do not give it to anybody, only women. So they are reserved for women, 1/3 seats are reserved. So women have been targeted, it's a social group. Then you have read in your class 9th about the reserved constituencies. There are reserved constituencies for so-called scheduled caste, scheduled tribe, other backward classes, etc., minority groups, etc. So they also share power in the government. Again, so that even these groups who were earlier treated as inferior, they would not feel inferior and they feel that they are equally powerful as the other citizens of the country. So administrative power is shared between the different social groups. And finally, we come to power sharing between the political parties, pressure groups and movement groups. In a democracy, apart from the political parties, there are so many pressure groups, so many movement groups. They work behind. They are behind the working of a democracy. In a democracy, particularly after 1990, when there is era of coalition government, when there was rise of so many political parties in India, we have seen that no single party is able to achieve the required number of seats in the Lok Sabha election or in the state assemblies, so they have to enter into coalition and they have to share power. In India, there are permanent coalitions, there are permanent alliances. So they share power. Political parties share power. Sometimes they share power directly and sometimes they share power indirectly. Directly, before elections, many political parties come together and they share a common agenda, that they frame a common agenda on the basis of which they contest election, and when they come to the power, they form the government in an alliance. Indirectly, when after election parties came to know that no single party is able to achieve on its own the required number of seats, then they come together, they form an alliance and they form the government. We have seen in Belgium how there is power sharing at the center, how there is Dutch accommodated the French at the center, then in Brussels, French accommodated the Dutch, and in the two regions also, they have been given power, the power is shared. And finally in the community government also, so as to look after that their culture is not submerged, that their economic and cultural rights are intact. So there is provision for a community government. In India, political parties share power. There are permanent alliances in India, permanently made. Then there are certain pressure groups and movement groups, pressure groups of industrialists, pressure groups of businessmen, pressure groups of the producers, pressure groups of different sections, different professionals. And behind every working in a democracy, there is role of pressure groups. You must have seen during election with the political parties, there are groups of industrialists, there are groups of business people, business personals. So they also share power, and their alliances, there to form the government. When their alliance wins in the election, they share power. And there are certain movement groups also. They work for the public good and they work for the welfare of the people. So in a democracy, there are political parties, they are obvious there, they are most visible institutions over there. But apart from the political parties, power is also shared by the pressure groups. So many pressure groups, a number of pressure groups are there in a democracy, in a democratic country. So there are a number of pressure groups, there are a number of movement groups that also share power. So these are the four forms of power sharing that allow the democracies to work smoothly. We have seen that the idea of power sharing has brought stability to the governments, because when power sharing is done and when no social group feels alienated itself in a country, obviously peace and harmony is established, and the governments, they can devote their time in making good policies and working for the welfare of the people. Passing out the welfare schemes for the people. If there is power sharing, there is voice of the people, it is heard, the consent of the people in most of the important decisions, and countries are able to avoid the situation like Sri Lanka finds itself in. So through power sharing, the recent democracies, the modern democracies, they are able to function smoothly, and this power sharing is accepted by most of the countries of the world today. So that was all in this chapter, in the first chapter of your democratic politics, that is civics, power sharing. We have completed this chapter today. In the next lecture, we will start the second chapter of your democratic politics, that will be federalism. Most of the points of this chapter will be again there in federal, because Belgium tend to be a federal country. In this chapter, we have discussed about the example of Belgium, about the example of India. Both are truly federal countries. We will discuss that how this power sharing, we will discuss in detail about the vertical power sharing in the second chapter in federalism. So till then, you prepare your notes, go through your NCERT pages 2 to 6 pages. They are all containing all these topics. Up to page 7 and 8 you can go through, and then we will start the second chapter in the next lecture, that is federalism. Till then, it is a very goodbye from me.